Susie and her 8-year-old son come here every Saturday to honor her deceased husband, Juan Jose, or JJ for short. When they first met, JJ was a leader in a notorious Guatemalan gang, and he wore the markings that identified him as one of the most hated members of his own society. Exhaustion with La Vida Loca and the power of love altered the course of JJ's life. He left the gang and joined an evangelical church. He and Susie married, and she bore him 2 sons. JJ started a soccer league for at-risk boys. He set up his own Facebook page where all could see his new ways. But his life with Susie was cut short by lung failure caused by years of substance abuse. JJ died in 2012.
Creo que es. My name is Robert Brenneman. I'm a sociologist. I teach at St. Michael's College in Colchester, Vermont, and I conduct research on Central American gangs and religion, so gangs and churches. I'm here starting a second round or a follow-up research program to the research that led to my book on ex-gang members joining the church. The last part of the book is if you don't want to migrate to another country and if you don't get killed, then you can leave the gang by way of joining an evangelical church.
Joining an evangelical church may be the only option, aside from the morgue, open to gang members wanting to leave the gang and return to mainstream society. Brenneman calls the path that JJ took out of the gangs the evangelical exemption. In his book, Homies and Hermanos, Brenneman showed how evangelical churches provided a safe space where ex-gang members were encouraged to repent for prior acts that violated the trust of their community. He argued that the high regard for the evangelical lifestyle of strict moralism meant that many gang leaders made an exception to the no-exit rule generally enforced by the gang. If a gang member really wanted to quit the gang, he could always join a church, as long as he was ready to prove his conversion by adopting the strict teetotaling lifestyle of the Hermanos.
And I'm not sure, and that's partly why I'm doing this new research, to find out if it's still allowable to leave the gang by way of the church.
Brenneman's return to Guatemala is part of American University's project on religious responses to violence. Like an investigative reporter, he tracks down ex-gang members he interviewed years before. It's not an easy task.
Buenos días, aquí le hablo Roberto Brenneman, el sociólogo que le hizo una entrevista hace 5 años. ¿Usted tendría contacto con el otro muchacho que yo le entrevisté en ese momento? Ah, sí. Buenas tardes. Disculpe, yo ando buscando el señor pastor de esta iglesia, la padre. ¿Usted sabe algo de él? One person said the church is now in a neighborhood close by, a different neighborhood, but he didn't know exactly where. Hello? Cut off.
Lost the line?
Lost the line. I don't know if it was him or me. But I'm learning in the process. Tomorrow at 1, we have a meeting. And this time I think he'll be here. Hi. Hi. ¿Qué tal?
Hey.
¿Cómo está, Roberto?
¿Cómo está?
Qué bueno verlo.
¿Cómo está? Yo también le hablaba.
Verlo bien.
Sí, gracias.
Qué bueno, qué bueno.
This former gang member confirms Brenneman's thesis about evangelical exemption.
¿Cuál es la clave? La clave fue el tener un encuentro personal con Jesús. Esa fue la clave para mi vida. Día desamparado, andaba en la calle, el centro de mi vida es Dios. Mi familia, tengo una niña de 9 años, mi esposa, un matrimonio ya de 11. Mi esposa me aguantó parte de la drogadicción. Sí.
In addition to interviewing former gang members, Brenneman met with evangelical pastors to verify whether a consensus regarding the religious pathway out of the gangs still exists.
Es una cosa curiosa porque yo hablo un poco en el libro y en mi investigación encontré que en muchas comunidades, muchos ronfleros tenían esa excepción, digamos, de que si uno se convertía a la iglesia, los dejaban en paz.
After being shot twice by rival gang members, this man fled. He said the evangelical path now is closed.
Me di cuenta que en muchas clicas los líderes daban permiso para salir únicamente si uno se metía en la iglesia de lleno. ¿Será así todavía?
No.
I'm getting different answers to the question of whether or not you can still get out of the gang by joining a church. So the reality is I'm closer to admitting that it goes clica by clica. It goes from cell to cell. It changes, and it depends on the local leader.
Perhaps because his own father was a minister, Brenneman believes in the power of faith, redemption, and hope. In a society where gang youth are among the most hated members of their communities, Brenneman's research shows how churches are providing safe spaces where former gang members can find trust and support as they try to rebuild and redirect their lives. At a mass offered in memory of former gang leader JJ, Brenneman joins JJ's widow, Susie, and her son. This is Bill Gentile reporting.